So my first thought with this episode was the big mystery of this episode is whether Ziva or the missing chick is in the coffin. But that's what we're going with, guys. Okay, whatever you say. So coming off of that, I really did not think that this episode was a good example of how to use non-linear storytelling. I hope that's the correct term to express this. Basically, you know, just having a scene that's going to be in like the middle to the end of the episode and sticking that in the teaser and then doing a whole, 48 hours before, one day before kind of deal. Now, this technique has worked in other episodes, it's a way to build suspense, but I can't say that it was the best choice in this episode. Just didn't really think it was necessary for this one. It was kind of just a waste of a good teaser. I mean, the missing Marine was a very admirable character, but I can't really say I cared if she was dead. Sorry, maybe I'm heartless, but, that's how I felt. Now, I by far prefer that she lived through these episodes, and she did. She definitely deserved to. However, the opening was just slow. Maybe it just bothers me so much because they could have done a much better teaser. They could have had an opening that was just like, bam, like an opening that just punched you in the face and made you want to wait around for more. Like a flashback to her rescuing the girls. Like, that would be a great scene, and you never actually get to see it. You only ever hear about it. That'd be a little bit non-linear too, but it would have actually been interesting to see. Like, just seeing this girl in action, seeing her being a hero. I mean, she's a hero, but just seeing it, I think would have done more for me than the sobbing dad. Sorry. I mean, yes, more expensive, but a teaser like that would have drawn people in and also helped catch everyone up. Okay, before I get to more of the bad stuff, let's just talk about the stuff in this episode that was good. Let's talk about the stuff that was likable. I liked that this episode was international. I like anytime they go overseas, but not really because it's all in LA. But anytime that the characters go overseas, that's always really fun. So I liked that they did get to go to Afghanistan. I liked that Ziva got to go with Gibbs, as previously stated in my last news video. I loved Tony's epic tackle of the terrorist guy. I loved his fear of children. That was just a little bit adorable. And I also loved his sort of one-way monologue in the church to God. I want to know what the bargain is so bad. I hope it's either about Tiva or just something really angsty. I also like Melanie Burke, who's the ginger chaplain lady. I feel like she has a good place in this episode. I mean, they did stretch her over a lot of storylines, but I thought that she was just a good character just to be there and do stuff. I don't know, I thought she was likable. Oh my god, and I loved the climax of the episode. I loved that scene where, they've cornered the terrorist guy and he's got the cell phone in his hand and he's just like, ah! Ah! And the terrorist is like, you're weak, and Gibbs is just like, bam! Right in the face, and he goes down and Gibbs is like, not weak, just better. It was brilliant. They say that the moments are a very important key element of NCIS. It was like Shane Brennan or someone basically said that they like to have 7 or 8 moments in an episode that people can talk about. So, badass Gibbs moment, dear moment, why couldn't you be in a better episode? The episode was so not worthy of that moment. Yeah, I really didn't like this episode. A good part of that is because I really expected a lot more of this episode. It's sweeps, it's a 2-parter, it's bring out the big guns time. Okay, Ziva did have a big gun, but I mean metaphorical big guns. Now, I'm no expert, but I'm fairly certain I could have taken these 2 scripts and a red Sharpie and condensed them down into 1 episode. This 2-episode deal, it had heart, had a good heart. There's this female Marine who saves 2 girls who without a doubt have every right to be educated. From a bombing at a school, they get captured and they have to be rescued and no man gets left behind. Or woman gets left behind. But there's just a lot of other stuff and subplots going on and they just didn't gel together. Like the flashbacks. Okay, I'm pretty sure they had a point. I trust that they have a point and I hope I'm just too dim to see it. It's entirely possible. But they just really didn't work in this episode for me. It was a good story in itself, don't get me wrong, Gibbs meets this girl when they're young, they kind of have a little bit of a thing, it doesn't really go anywhere, but there's promise and she just dies. And then he visits, her name at the memorial. Had this been a fanfiction one-shot, I probably would have bawled my eyes out while reading it. And even though I can see why this girl, Gabby, reminds him of Joan, these 2 stories didn't have strong enough ties to really sell it for me. And I felt as a viewer like I was being pulled from plot to plot for no good reason. Like, cause Gibbs never met another, female Marine since the 70s. I mean, he even, lapses into a flashback while watching a girl work on a Jeep. Whatever. I'm done caring about it. I'm moving on. So anyway, the main plot of this story was okay. At its core, it was good. Rescue mission, solid idea. And I really like the scene with the little girls. They were really well done, but very, very sad. And when you see what's been done to them, it's so tragic, and it's sadly realistic. And I also love Cody's reaction to when they first see the girls. It's just really good shot, really good acting. Another thing I liked the action sequence right in the middle. A little short-lived, but it was there. I think it would have been great to have a longer, action sequence, more bad guys, more jumping over things, very NCIS LA. And I also love how Gibbs is administering first aid while Ziva's busy killing things. I love when she gets to kill things. So it turns out the coffin belongs to, drumroll please, Captain Quincy. I know, who is that? I'm sorry, he was in the first episode and I didn't even remember him. Okay, so show. If you want us to give a crap about someone dying, and they clearly wanted us to, you have to figure out a way to make us like him and notice him way more than some forced and random kinship with Ziva. I mean, it was sad. Maybe I'm heartless, but I think the amount of time devoted to that character dying and their death has to be directly proportional to the amount of crap we give about said character. Like that Emotep guy, Haldir, who died in Enemy's Domestic, that guy got 5 seconds, you dead. That was it. I mean, and this guy was you got the full tragic death scene, you got the parents in the coffin and the salutes, and Hadir were just it really sucks that he's dead. Moving on. He just had way more presence than this guy. I didn't really even know his name until the second time I watched this episode. Maybe that's just me. Maybe you guys all cried and was not Quincy! No! So I'm gonna give this episode a 2.5 out of 5, which is the lowest rating I've given in a while. But there's something about this episode. I hate giving it a bad review, but there's something about it. There was a lot of good ingredients in this episode. Unfortunately, once they mashed everything together, for whatever reason, the final project was less than appetizing. I am sorry this is a negative review. If anyone from NCIS, for some ungodly reason, ever sees this to the end, I say this because I care. Somewhere deep down, and I do try to make my criticism constructive. So just go back in time and change the teaser and we'll be cool. So here's hoping for next week. I'll do it! I swear! KO! It was a needle in a haystack of crap. No, I'm not gonna say that.